Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. A pleasant welcome everybody to our Sportsline program for this first Monday in May. Our number 724-236-0430. Get on the line, chat with us, and we'll give you an opportunity to win a prize. Mike, you have your Tennessee shirt on.
No, it's not Tennessee. It's actually a Cajun Classic shirt, but it's orange. It's very orange. Yes.
Yep, it's that.
I'm going through the closet, coming up with something a little bit different every week.
Well, so good for you.
We're good.
I hate to look at my closet. Anyway, folks, welcome to the program. Hope you have an opportunity to call us here tonight. Of course, the Penguins, as we're talking here on a Monday night, this program is being videotaped and shown again Thursday. So just to get that out of the open to begin with. Right now, as we sit, the Penguins have a 2-1 game lead in the series.
That is correct.
And they played terribly in the Game 2.
They played terribly in Game 2 and Game 3.
Well, yeah, Game 3 had, it was almost like a rerun of portions of They just, Mike, number one, they can't get the puck out of the zone. Well, we'll talk about it. I don't want to do that. I want you to talk about it with us.
Yes.
Okay, to win a prize here in the program when you call, you are eligible if you have not won last week. So basically we say, you can win every other week. All right, that's number one. The Grand Salami Prize or the Mystery Profile, one or the other, once in a calendar month. You can try the Mystery Profile once a month. And for the time limits, multiple choice at 15 seconds, the Grand Salami at 20, the Mystery Profile goes clue by clue, and those who have not called in the last year are considered first-time callers, and you will win more than one prize with a correct answer to the multiple choice. Answers to the trivia questions are on my website, doubledribblebob.com. And I invite you to listen to my radio program Saturday mornings on WAVL. They're 9:10 on the AM dial, Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock. So, that out of the way, Mike, I guess we can... Do you want to get anything off your...
No, not really. I mean,
okay?
I did want to throw out there that Joe Green retired today. He was in the personnel department with the Steelers. Mm-hmm. And he retired after 9 years in that capacity. Of course, played for 13 and some more years as a coach. So Joe Green off into retirement, hopefully with a nice gold watch, because he gave a lot to that organization and probably, more than any other player, singularly responsible for everything that's come since he's been there.
Is there any truth to the rumor that you almost got the part of where he threw the shirt to the kid with
I was not a child actor. No, yeah. I missed that day. No, I was not a child actor. I brushed by him once or twice. That's the closest I've ever come to Joe Green. I met Chuck Noll once, and that was nice. And we interviewed him for this show. Actually, we had that on here at St. Vincent at Mario Lemieux's tournament. Actually, golf tournament. We got him. He was great, and he did a one-on-one with me and was super nice about the whole thing. And that was great. So we got a chance to meet Chuck Noll, and he was really nice. But no, never did meet Joe Green. But
the only wrinkle in Noll's career that gives me the spooks. He played for Cleveland.
He's an Ohioan. He went to Dayton, I believe.
I'm not sure.
I believe he went to Dayton, and he's an Ohioan, and he left Cleveland and came to Pittsburgh, and he left his heart in Pittsburgh, so that was good. And so he along with Joe Green, that was a lot of that, the very beginners of what you see now is Steeler Nation. A lot of people don't remember. Yeah. You know what the Pirates are now? That's what the Steelers were then. The Steelers never won.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. Caller number 1 standing by. Stay with us.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
And if you're shopping for a pre-owned vehicle, let me give you some advice, and it is good advice. Call Mike Fanto at Tower Auto Sales. Are located in Blawnox on Freeport Road. More than 30 years of experience at the same location. Mike Fanto and his crew, and they are experienced, can help you in the selection of your next pre-owned vehicle. That's Tower Auto Sales, where they say, just buy it, at 412-828-6202. We're going to go to the phones right now, pick up caller number 1, which I believe is Tony. And Tony, welcome to the program. Good evening.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing well.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
I heard after that interview with Chuck Noll, he told you better think about moving on to your life's work.
Exactly. I've been told that more than once. He was really nice, I got to tell you. He even signed something for me, which was kind of taboo, but I didn't care.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he was really nice.
Can you guys switch, by the way, the cameras? Okay.
So anyway, go ahead, Tom.
Ah, you all set?
We're ready.
Yep.
Okay, you all looking pretty.
I hope so.
How many more stupid, sloppy mistakes can you make and try to win a Stanley Cup? Impossible.
Try to win a Stanley Cup. How about try to win a round?
Yeah. Well, they never beat the Islanders in the playoff rounds. Never.
I was just going to say that's one fact that a lot of hockey fans may not realize. The Penguins have never defeated the Islanders in a series.
Prior to yesterday, they had only beaten them once ever in overtime in a playoff game. And as I was thinking back into my memory bank, I was actually there.
Oh.
It was back in 1982.
Wow. I just don't understand it.
By the way, Tony, one interesting fact, the Islanders have now lost 7 consecutive playoff games at home.
And they had a losing record at home throughout this season, which is interesting considering they played so
Very unusual.
In their first playoff game, they win.
They have, out of their last 20 games that they've played, including the playoffs, they've only lost 3 games in overtime, in regulation, in that 20 games. They're playing well, and if the Penguins don't mind their P's and Q's and remove their heads from certain areas, they're going to go home again.
So who do we bring in next year? Do we bring in some more 38-year-olds and 30 years old because they look like they're 40 or 50? Some of these guys, they're skating right past it. Maybe we should go and take some of the players off the Islanders, with speed and that. And maybe we should start listening to the coaches when they tell you to dump it in instead of trying them 70-feet passes. And this is pathetic. I just don't understand it.
I still like Ray Sherrow's choices, though. In fact, the 4 guys that he has brought with us, and please don't ask me to recite all their names, but those 4 guys have accounted for 23% of the scoring in the playoffs, at least 23%, either an assist or a goal. They have been
by my
there.
math, that's almost a fourth.
Yeah, so there you are.
So I won't blame. I'll tell you what, I can't blame him if they don't win this time.
No. If you can't, if you don't start playing some defense here,
you know me, it's a player.
You're going home, like you said.
I like blaming players when things go wrong. That's normally my move. So that's what I would do this time too. But I want to wait and see what happens here. They played lousy. They played lousy on Friday night. They didn't play well yesterday, really. But they did come back and win the game. So I would rather have it that way than the other way.
Yeah, I understand that. But they got outshot every game, even the ones they win.
They do. You know what? I checked the stat today that out of the 48 games in the regular season, they were outshot 26 times, and I really thought that was a high number. Until I looked and saw that the Blackhawks have been outshot 34 times, and those are the best two teams in the league, and they were outshot the most of any team. Is that because they're always ahead? And the other teams
go
have
figure, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was weird. I didn't know. And the Penguins are the best record in the league when being outshot. But when you see numbers like that, you're relying on your goaltending. That's what's happening
right.
there.
You put a lot of pressure on your goaltender.
And you know what happens to Fleury under pressure in the playoffs. Things haven't gone well lately.
But, the playoffs are supposed to be a tight game. None of this. This looks like regular season, as far as the Penguins are concerned.
Or it looks like last year in the playoffs. It looks like the same thing. They just
way.
started over.
So I don't know. Like I said, something's got to happen here, or they are going to go home maybe. And if not this round, they'll go. If they keep playing that way, maybe the next round. But we'll see what happens. Now, how's your Pirates doing?
I was at the game yesterday. It didn't turn out so well.
Oh, no wonder. No wonder that first inning went.
I'm 2-2 this year. Give me a break. I'm doing all right.
You're doing all right.
I'm doing all right. I'm 500.
Well, now they're in third place, right?
I don't know.
They are.
Yeah,
17 and 14.
Considering, Tony, the schedule that they started off with, and I saw a note today from one of the guys at ESPN, they actually have the best record in baseball against teams with winning records.
Yeah,
they've already played 18.
You know why they gave them that schedule? They wanted to get rid of them fast.
I think they did. It didn't work. It's like now the only thing is that
it didn't work, but it'll work later on probably. But
well, that's what I said. They were talking about Hurdle doesn't know what he's doing with his bullpen. I'm completely convinced of that now. If I wasn't before, I'm totally convinced now. But especially after yesterday, when Melanson and Grilli now, in the 9 days, counting today and going 9 days back, and pitched a grand total of 2 innings, and he couldn't pitch him yesterday?
I just don't understand it. When you say 2 innings, that's 1 inning.
Right.
Half an inning.
Because you're half,
Right,
it's
not like they pitched 2 full innings in a game.
6 outs,
what I mean? And, to get all that money to go out there and pitch a half an inning and saying that they can't go anymore is pathetic.
Now, Contreras only pitched the top of the 7th yesterday, but that's okay because he's 41 and he needs a rest.
Well, we'll give him a break here.
Yeah, so I was okay with that. I don't think he's pitched more than gotten more than 3 outs in a game in forever. Here's another note. This is completely off the beaten path. Strasburg pitches Saturday, right? A game they absolutely should have won, but that's neither here nor there. Do you know that Steven Strasburg, for all the money he's making and all the ballyhoo and all that, has never recorded an out in the 8th inning or later of a Major League Baseball game?
Isn't that amazing?
Is that unbelievable?
Well, probably because he throws so hard for so long, he just finally,
because they have a pitch limit nowadays. Yeah.
But hey, that's their problem. Pirates have their own.
We have our own. I don't know where we're. I wish we had a guy like Strasburg. Trust me.
Oh, sure. Somewhere along the line, we probably gave away somebody like that, or not that good, but still. But I'm just.
Or if we had him, we would still be an A-ball.
I'm just looking at this pitching staff, and McDonald. I don't know. He seems like the laziest player I've ever seen. If he feels like pitching, he'll pitch. If he don't, the heck with it.
I don't know what his
story is. Like that attitude. I don't understand it because they need a lot of help. And
buddy of mine, they allowed an extra coach this year, that you were allowed to have an extra coach on the bench. A buddy of mine said they should have hired Dr. Phil and put him in uniform.
Dr. Phil?
Yeah.
He'd run screaming into the night after a couple of games.
After a couple of games, he'd believe me. He'd have seen enough.
Unbelievable. Oh well, hey, we'll see what happens. But I'm not, I'm not counting my money.
No.
Look but don't bet, as old Pippo used to say.
That's what Joe used to say. I thought of Joe this weekend on the race at the Derby because Orb won, and for all the years that I stood behind these two guys and did their stats, and when it would be one misidentified player, better get those Orbs checked, Hattard. All I could think of was Orb.
Yep.
All right, Tony, let's get to some trivia.
All right. We got to break his jinx, Mike.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right. Let's try number one.
Number one.
You want to do it?
Yeah, let's go. Okay, Tony.
You know I'm not rooting for you.
I am. Name the first Brooklyn Dodgers player to win a World Series MVP award. The first Brooklyn Dodgers player to win a World Series MVP.
Ooh. That's a beauty. That's a good one there.
It is.
How about, I don't know, Roy Campanella?
Roy Campanella is not correct. It happened in 1955, if that does anything for you, Tony. It was the winning pitcher of Game 7, Johnny Padres.
Johnny Padres.
Johnny Padres, who in that series, I'm going to find it here, in 2 games, 2 complete games, 18 innings, 2 runs.
All right.
2 wins. MVP
Okay.
of the 1955 World Series.
Try again next week.
Sure.
The other 2 wins were by Roger Craig and
All right,
former
guys.
Pirate
You have a
Clem
great week.
Labine. How about that?
Thanks, Tony.
Yes, sir, buddy. Bye.
Thanks, Tony.
All right, now, we have a choice here. We can either go to a break, which I think we should.
We love choices. Everyone should have.
Who's on the line next, by the way? All right, we'll do the break, we'll come back, and we'll spend some time with the limo man, who will help us out here tonight with a few things.
Yes.
All right, back in a moment, folks. Stay aboard. This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get it a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Tarentum and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. And when you folks get around to who are calling anyway, or here in the studio audience tonight, you want to take a shot at our mystery profile. It is sponsored by Matteo's Pizza and Subs, located in Brackenridge Heights. You know, everything on their menu is made with quality ingredients, and that's why they have great tasting hand-tossed pizzas, gyro sandwiches, subs, hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and their signature sandwich, the Iron Man Hoagie. Give them a call at 724-904-7312. Okay, let's go back to the phones. Welcome Bruce, the limo man. Bruce, good
How are you, Robert Tatter?
Hi, Bruce.
I got to let you know that coupon you sent me for Taco Bell was really good.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It was really good. I'm telling you, with a ranch.
A run for the border, huh, limo?
One of the best ones you've ever sent me.
That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I got to let you know that Villa Restaurant in Ford City is another good one. You ought to try to get them as a sponsor. They were related to Falsetti.
Okay.
That's another real good, inexpensive place. And Herman Chip Kamen, a Jewish athlete, he passed away. I don't know if you knew him or not.
No.
No.
You didn't know him.
What did he do?
He was an athlete, and he was a skier, a scuba diver, a mountaineer, and an ice climber.
He was well-rounded.
Yes, one of the few Jews that did all that.
I was going to say he would be what they would call an extreme sports athlete now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And anybody pick up Tim Tebow yet?
No. I have heard that some people in Jacksonville are trying to get their ownership to do it, but nobody's done it yet. I don't know what to make of the whole thing, Limo. I still think his best bet would be to go to a team that has an established star at quarterback, like New England with Brady, or even here with Ben, or somebody like that with an established number one, where he would just go and be the backup, period, with no questions asked.
That's what he should do.
And he could be the backup, and then if that guy got hurt and couldn't play for a game or two, then he could go in there and and try to win you the game. Without having to act as a mentor.
Let me ask this question now: would he, with his background and everything you know about the guy, would he fit better in a smaller market, preferably blue collar, or is there too much in the bigger markets for the shots against Christianity as it is?
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
I wish that, first of all, I wish people would just leave him alone about that part. But he does put himself out there, so I guess he does sort of invite the heat. But I think that if he would seek a little bit of a lower profile, it would be better for his.
Would the media let him do it?
It's a good question. And it is all media driven, Bob. You're 100%. You're 100% right. But would it be better for his career if that were the case, and maybe in a smaller market?
Well, take a look at Bruce, I hope you don't mind me taking this an extra leg. When Bradshaw came to the Steelers in 1970, which was 43 years ago, he came in as a Southern Baptist, if I recall. A member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and he wasn't under this kind of scrutiny as Tebow is. Tebow survived, I don't want to use the word survive, but his mother was advised that if she went through with delivery on Tebow, that she was jeopardizing her life, and that he would be born somewhat less than what a human being should be.
Sure.
Okay? So he survives. That becomes a big story. Okay?
So they took out an ad on one of the Super Bowls about it.
Right. Okay. Anyway, Bruce, I guess what I'm getting at is, the opportunity was here in Pittsburgh with Bradshaw, but that was 40-some years ago when the world isn't as crazy as it is today. I'm serious.
And in those days, and Bruce, you'll remember this too. In the early '70s, the stores weren't open on Sunday around here. Yeah. This is the difference between then and now when it comes to that kind of thing.
And so I did 2 weddings over the weekend, and I mentioned to everybody the BobCattern.com.
Well, thank you.
That was 100 people.
Oh, I hope you said double dribble.
DoubleDribbleBob.com.
Okay.
That's what we wanted to hear.
And I don't think I'm eligible because I got that certificate last week. Correct me if I'm not right.
Okay.
All right, there's a long drive in deep right center field, and this ball is for Marty and Sue at the Magnolia Room.
Wherever that may be. Hey, thanks, Bruce, for the call.
Appreciate it. And I could hear him this week. He came through loud.
Yeah, you know what? He must be on a land phone.
Yes.
So. All right, let's go to the phones again. Then eventually I think we're going to get Paul up to the mic.
Yes.
What happened to the other guest we had out here?
They just left.
Maybe they got bored. That's what I thought. Okay, let's go to the phones. Thank you for calling. Who's up?
Hi, Bob. This is Chris. How you doing?
Okay.
Hi, Chris.
Okay, I just want to bring this to your thought, Mike. Say, for instance, we would play around and switch the leagues around. Instead of having like we have the American League and the American League and the National League right now. Say we can put some, maybe a National League, some more National League players or National League teams into the American League. Which ones would they be? And how do you feel about it?
Why are you suggesting this? If I can,
one American League team on the National League. You know what I'm talking about? Instead of having National League thing written, maybe switch one around a year or something like that, or two.
I don't know what you mean.
I mean, you know how Houston's now with the American League? I was thinking, what would you bring into the American League from the National League? Which ones would you bring into it?
Well, now they're even. They've got as many teams.
Right, because Houston went to the American League.
Right, there was an overload.
There was. Yeah. And now, because of that, because they changed the schedule, then there's an interleague series every day. Someone's playing interleague every day because you have 15 national leagues.
Which ones would you put into the place for the American or National League? I mean, if we could alternate each year.
I'm having Chris, I'm sorry. The last part that you had stated, I think Mike and I were still talking. We missed hearing what you had just said. If you'd help us out with your last comment. I don't know where to take this.
Okay, how I want to take this is I'd like to break up the leagues instead of having interleague play and put some of the National League teams on the American League, see which ones would be willing to go to the American League and see which ones would be vice versa.
Do you just want to move some back and forth then?
Yeah.
Yes. What do you think about the idea?
Terrible.
Well, they're not going to realign now. I mean, the reason they did what they did was because there isn't going to be any realignment. And believe me, you're going to have trouble getting teams to jump from one league to the other. The only reason that they were able to get the Astros to go is because the team was being sold and they kind of extorted it out of them. And with the DH and everything, you have to completely change your team if you want to move from one league to the other. And I just don't. I mean, I think you could see realignment in and among the leagues. You could see divisions change.
That's why they have it.
Less like they did in hockey. They're going to go from 3 divisions to 2 in each conference. You know, you could see that happening. But I don't think.
I'm not wild about I didn't mean to say terrible, but I mean it's. I think there are certain.
I don't like change. I wish we still had 8 teams in each league and they just had a World Series
and had a real major league roster.
That's what I would think. Be more excitement than the same old usual leagues that we were looking forward to. I mean, divisions rather.
Yeah. All right, Chris, are you ready for trivia?
I won last week. Remember?
Oh, you won last week. I beg your pardon. That's right.
We're having a run on this.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Chris.
On that, Bob.
All right, we're coming up here at 6:28 almost.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching on a Thursday night, it's almost 9 o'clock.
Another beautiful day. How about this stretch of weather? A week.
Yeah.
Is it if it was always like this, we would never need air conditioning.
Do we have another caller, by the way? Okay. Let me bring up something, Mike, if I can. And this over the weekend there was a death reported of a soccer referee from the state of Utah. Had made a call. I'm assuming it was high school soccer, or it could have been a youth league. But in either case, the 17-year-old that got flagged or tagged for the call didn't like the call, and he walked up to the official and hit him in the side of the head. During the game, the official became lightheaded, and eventually he had to be taken to the hospital. He passed away. 46 years of age, a couple of teenage kids of his own, and I heard sound bites of the daughter who made the statement for the family about having her father taken away. Anyway, one of the reasons I bring this up is, what do we do with kids that are violent in sports? Soccer, you would think, without a weapon like a hockey stick, or in baseball, like a bat or something like that, something like this wouldn't happen. But, Mike, you know what's happened with hockey. I mean, how about the slash or the attack on, we were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago, the worst hockey riot.
Oh, the Maurice Richard riot.
Maurice Richard. And who did they say had the worst cheap shot in all of hockey history?
Well, I don't know which one you're going.
Oh
with
gosh, but
I remember Dale Hunter when Dale Hunter did the run at Pierre Turgeon with the
That's it.
Islanders.
That's the one. That's the one.
That got I think a 30-game suspension to start the next season.
But so, folks, where do we go with this thing? Here's a kid. Let's say it was his final game of his senior year. Can't even touch him.
Well, not
I mean,
that way.
unless they're playoff bound or something, but.
Well, yeah, if you're just talking about playing a game, but I think the law could have something to say about it.
Well, they will.
I mean,
and
I
be
don't
tried
know
as an adult, it's a possibility.
Something. A civil case, maybe by the family,
Right.
wrongful death, a civil lawsuit, which, you know, the kid obviously has nothing. He's still in high school, but I mean, that could ruin the parents. I don't, you know, I just think that there's no, this is off the beaten path, but we're so past the point where people have no respect for authority anymore. And in our day, nobody would ever thought of reaching back and hitting a referee. Nobody would have ever thought of raising your voice at a grown-up if you were in high school or if you were a kid. Now, I mean, it would happen on an odd case here or there, but you know, punishment I think was a lot worse, and I just think that we've just kind of gone off the rails somewhere here when it comes to
You remember
this
just a couple of years ago in hockey, wasn't there a parental thing with a coach or something? There was a death involved, from what I can remember, but I don't know that it happened in the, I wouldn't say junior hockey, in youth hockey.
Okay. Like heck, we can even go back to the attack on the basketball official here locally within the last 10 or so years. Ron Bell was the guy's name, if you remember. He was officiating a game between, I believe it was Deer Lakes and Hampton. And one of the Hampton fans came out of the stands and attacked the guy right there on the court because he didn't like a foul call. I mean, you know, exactly how necessary is that? And these are the grown-ups. These weren't even the kids.
Right.
These were the grown-ups. And of course, the next couple times they played on a dark gym at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and nobody could go see it because.
I broadcast a couple of those games, Hampton being one of them.
Exactly, and it's like you don't. And you should think we've done a lot of stuff with Hampton over the years. Not exactly one of the places you fear going into.
Right.
You know, not exactly some place you expect there to be trouble.
Right.
But. You know, I guess there can be, but you know, you just wonder. Like you said, what do you do with it? What do you do with a kid other than?
And I thought that might spark some action here from our viewers to say.
And I'm sure he probably feels terrible about it and the whole thing. Because
I'm sure
that's not all the remorse in the world is not going to bring those people's father back.
Well, okay, I don't want to go out on a limb and expose something that you had mentioned to me about your year in Little League with which was recent. Well, 20 years ago.
About 20 years ago, yeah.
But I mean, 20 years ago is recent for me.
Things have changed. Let's just put it that way. We had a great time, though. I'll tell you that. We had a great group. But you know, it's just things are just different than they were. But I just in this case, and I hadn't read up on it until you brought it up to me earlier today when we talked. But you know, you just look at things like this, and you know, you watch and you wonder, you know, they'll probably bring it out to they watch too much television, violence in the video games. There's always an excuse. But this is all about personal responsibility.
At least it wasn't a gun involved, because now
right,
it would be political.
But there's just, I mean, you know, this personal responsibility's got to come into this somewhere. And you think that somebody in high school, how old was the kid, Bob?
17.
He was 17. Okay.
17.
17-year-olds just got to know better than that. You don't put your hands on it. Just the respect factor for authority. You just don't put your hands on somebody like that.
And you don't say this kid's got to go to the Marines as a punishment. That's an honor to be with the Marines. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring it up. But let me mention one other thing, and neither of the callers we've had in the first half hour have brought this up. But Pittsburgh's Matt Cook had an incident in the game Sunday when one of the Islanders on the bench used the blade of his stick to tap Cook. It wasn't a hard hit, but nonetheless it came from the bench. I'm kind of surprised that although Cook retaliated just by pushing the guy back a little bit.
It was Matt Carkner.
Oh, okay.
Tough customer.
That explains it.
Tough customer, that Matt Carkner. He used to play for the Senators. He's a tough cookie.
But anyway, I just wondered if you folks had given it any thought about what might what should have the officials done? Can they go back and take a look at something?
They're good enough to be a misconduct. No, you know what? The only video replay are goals, and those go back to Toronto, and there is no looking at it. It's on site.
Okay, if you're the president of the NHL,
that's a misconduct to me.
Okay, so now it's gone unpunished.
Basically, it's gone unpunished. No, it's reviewable, I'm sure.
Okay, but let's say you're the president of the NHL, and you put a call into the Islanders and say, you better tell the entire team and go to the Penguins and say there's no retaliation with this. Okay,
there'll be no
this
more of
better
that.
Stop.
Well, here's what I was thinking. You know, Brendan Shanahan, who doles out the discipline, has been busy with some elbows to the head here this last week or so. One I think he called right, and one I think he called horribly wrong. I thought the Ottawa one should not have been a suspension. I think it was a hockey play, and Lars Eller just ended up in a bad way. But you know, I understand. Somebody said that if he wasn't doing anything this afternoon, he might have wanted to take a look at that. Take a look at Matt Carpenter from the bench, and my thought was that he probably had to watch the Ottawa-Montreal game over and over again to catch everything he needed to catch out of that, and didn't have any time to get to Matt Carpenter and Matt Cook. Because then again, Matt Cook's treated as a second-class citizen in the NHL.
He is.
If that would have been done to someone else, I think you might have seen it. And then he, of course, gets a penalty back for being, as you say.
But see, Mike, let's say that penalty would have haunted Pittsburgh. You see where I'm going with this thing?
Instead of the Penguins having a power play, sure. And you see what the Penguins' power play is doing in this series. They've been deadly. So the Islanders, 6
of 13.
The Islanders have to stay out of the penalty box.
6 of 13 for the Penguins.
And I'm not exactly sure what the number was. That even last year in the Flyers series that the Penguins lost, I believe their power play was about 40% in that series, even though they lost. So the last two postseasons in the power play has been
almost
great.
36%.
And if you look at it, I'm not exactly sure if the Islanders have even scored maybe but one goal on their power play. Penguins penalty killing, which was thought to be a weakness, has been pretty good.
Not bad. So there is hope.
Hey, that special teams are a part of the game, and you could say, well, that's bailing them out, but it's a part of the game. The Islanders need to stay out of the box.
All right, folks, if you're watching, the phone number here is 724-236-0430. Break time. Mike and I will come back, and Paul is going to get out of the on-deck circle, come into the batter's box, and chat with us. So Paul will do that momentarily. You at home, we'll be right back. Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Rasevich family in deepest time of need. The Rasevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a 4th generation. The Rasevich family serves the AK Valley from 2 locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square. Folks, if you're going to do any shopping for a pre-owned vehicle, Tower Auto Sales has 3 indoor showrooms, a full-service facility with an experienced staff. They have all makes and models, featuring Lexus products. Tower Auto Sales. You know, they say just buy it. Get in touch with Mike Fanto. We call him Head Honcho at 412-828-6202. Let's welcome everybody back. By the way, my book, Bob Tattern Sportsman, it's available locally. You can pick up your copy at Myrna's Brewery Outlet, New Kensington. At the Hot Dog Guys, now in the summertime, they're out at the Route 28 Expressway, Tarentum entrance and exit, that location there. Also at Costello Printing and Graphics, located on 5th Avenue in Tarentum. And also in Tarentum, it's Blackburn's on Corbett Street, okay? The copy of the book, yours for the asking at $19.95 plus tax. Let's go to the phones here, and, I'm sorry. We do have a phone call, but we're going to go to Paul. Paul, welcome to the program. Good evening. Okay, good.
If you saw the Kentucky Derby and what you thought about the fantastic finish.
I
watched the replay, and that was about it.
I hated it because I didn't win any money. No, I love the Kentucky Derby, and it was a great finish. It's a good horse, Orb. I think that we got a legit shot at a Triple Crown this year. Right. I really do. They came into the race being talked up as the best horse.
Right.
And normally what happens is the best horse doesn't usually win because with 20 horses and the jostling at the start and everything that happens, they don't usually get a clean trip. Well, right. He had a chance to hold back, stayed back of the pack, and then they brought him in the stretch. Because Palace Malice went out really, really, really fast. That pace was blistering, even on that sloppy track.
It's muddy. Is it?
Oh my goodness! And I had Palace Malice, and I knew he went out too fast, and that was a bit of a problem. But I had Orb right, but I didn't have the underarm right, so I didn't get anything.
Let me ask both of you guys a question. Okay. In a case where the track, rain-wise, would have been worse than what it is, do they go out and throw more, or what do they do with the track?
They drag it like an infield. They have the machine that goes out and does that and basically puts the moisture down in. But and a lot of these horses don't run on dirt anymore. There's so many synthetic tracks around, and the Triple Crown races are all on old-fashioned dirt, and they're not used to it. And that's what they say a lot of times, that you want to take an inexperienced horse like that and get him out front because nobody's throwing the dirt back in his face. And a lot of them wore blinders for that. Yeah. And then I don't know if you notice the jockeys. The jockeys do. If you watch a NASCAR race, by the way, we get into that yesterday.
Please.
What a great finish that was. But anyhow, NASCAR. Oh my goodness. But anyhow, they have tearaways on their windshield. What they do is it's just a plastic, and it tears away, so that they have a fresh windshield there because they don't have wipers or anything on their windshields. Well, here's what jockeys do. Jockeys have the goggles, and on a muddy day, they'll have a pair of goggles and a pair of goggles and a pair of goggles and a pair of goggles, and they'll have like 8 or 10 pair of goggles. And then the minute it gets muddy, they throw it down, put it down over their their neck, and then the next one gets muddy.
You can't pollute the track.
And then and the next one gets muddy, and they put. So we were watching as they were loading them in. I said, look at all the goggles I can't even remember which jockey it was. Look at all the goggles he's got on because it was so muddy that you probably run, I don't know, a furlong, and that's got to go. You can't see anymore. And there's so much that goes into it that people probably don't realize. It's more than just getting on that horse and riding him around the track And I heard somebody today, it was Pat Forty from Yahoo, said there have been many Derby days, and still they had 150,000 people there.
Jeez.
So there's many Derby days that it rains. He can never remember it pouring, a deluge from 11 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the morning like it did. Right. It poured, and people came.
Right.
That's it's
a party.
It's an event.
It is.
So
I'd love to go sometime.
So you think this horse can three-peat?
I think he can. I think there's a shot here. Now the biggest problem is that these horses aren't used to run a week, have a week off, race again in 2 weeks, have 2 weeks off, and then race again. Mm-hmm. It's the only time in their career they're going to keep that schedule.
Right.
A lot of them only race. They're 3 years old. A lot of them only race maybe 3-4 races going into the Kentucky Derby. So it's the endurance part of it. The Preakness is a little shorter, but the endurance part of it, once you get into the race, to have a week off, have another race to go to the Preakness in 2 weeks, and then the Belmont is 1.5 miles, and that's the only 1.5 mile race that any of these horses will ever run in their life. There are no other races that are that long. So what people say, it's like pitcher's arms, and I've heard horse guys talk about this, that they've babied these pitchers. We talked about Strasburg. He hasn't got it on in any eighth inning in his career. That these horses are babied kind of the same way. They don't run as much as they did back in the day, and that has a lot to do with the stamina and the endurance that they can't go the 3 races, and that's why we haven't had one.
Now, Paul, if I can ask the question, I mean, you brought up the horse race. Right. I'm going to shoot this at you. Do they still take, maybe it's a urine test, to see if the horse has been given any pain inhibitor that
I don't know, but I would assume they all test them after the race or
before.
In my opinion.
The trainer from last.
I'm sure it's after because it would be so much.
Right.
It's got to be after the
guys.
race.
Sometimes they get into trouble because the trainers will give them painkillers, and you can't do that because you could see an inflammation in a horse, and I mean, the vet can tell you, or the trainer will know if the horse is hurting, and you can't run them. I mean, you just can't because they're so fragile. And if you give them painkillers and they don't feel it, then that can be fatal. You break a leg, and
it's all over.
They list on the program the different medications they're on, especially Lasix. They give a lot of horses Lasix, which people know is a water pill. It's a diuretic. If horses are retaining water and they want to keep the weight down, and it'll mention it. There'll be a big L on the next to the horse's name for Lasix, and it's or first time Lasix, and it's like. By the way, if you're betting, you may want to stay away from that one because that could be an issue. But
Paul, aren't you glad you asked?
Something to keep an eye on. I wouldn't know. I've never been to the track.
Yeah, I think I heard the second race, they only have the top 10 finishers of the Kentucky Derby.
Well, it usually goes less. It's definitely less. The field always widows itself down, and what happens is a lot of the horses that ran in this race won't race at all if they didn't do well. And many of them will come back, but it won't be the 20. You usually look between 10 and 15 for the second one.
Right.
And then if depending upon, and you'll have a couple of horses come in that did not run in the Derby. You always have to watch them if you're gambling, by the way, because you can have somebody come in there and they're going to take a spot and you're not looking for them. New shooters, they call them. And then in the Belmont, if you have somebody that's 1 and 2, you can have a very small field of maybe 8 or 10, or maybe even less. Wow. Because it's back to the stamina thing. Trainers aren't going to want to run those horses again in the third time in the month's time, and they just hold them out, and then you have a much smaller field. Yeah. But I think this horse has a chance. I think this horse has a definite chance because it's well bred. It's more bred for distance. Hadn't run as a 2-year-old. Came back and the Florida Derby was very impressive, beating It's My Lucky Day, which is another one of my horses, which I believe is just coming in right now. And so there's a shot here.
Okay. As I said, are you glad you asked?
Yeah. And finally, Hockey, of all the teams that are down in the series, which team do you think has the best chance of winning the series?
That's a good question, Paul. Maybe the.
Well, you said Vancouver. He was with Vancouver.
He's with Vancouver.
And they're down 3 games to 1.
That's over. They are choking dogs, that team. That is. It's funny because they're playing San Jose, who can also be choking dogs, as you well know. They.
Pardon me. The safe.
No, and even if it's you're right. Even if it's 3-0, it's the Sharks. If it was the other way, if Vancouver was up 3-0, you would say, hey, it's the Canucks. You can't. You can. Well, I think the Canadians are. That's 2-1. That's been great, by the way. I mean, that's awesome. There's just between Brandon Prust calling Paul McLean a fat walrus, a fat bug-eyed walrus, and then last night with the score 6-1, Ottawa calls a timeout with 17 seconds left to set up their power play, or to presumably make sure that everyone had a ride home, and then at the very end, I believe it was Brandon Prust who was on the ice, just fired a slap shot at one of the Senators as the time was ticking off, and then another guy ran at Anderson, ran at the goalie, he stepped out of the way, and it is ugly, and it is. If you don't care who wins, it's great.
Yeah. And like I always said, the playoffs is civil war. Like everyone.
Paul, you probably even remember this when the Canadians, a couple of years, the Canadians played the Quebec Nordiques in the playoffs, and there were fights during the pregame warm-up, which wouldn't surprise me if it happens in this series. Right. I don't think I'm going to call for a fight tomorrow night in a pregame warm-up, but watch for it because they said that they're actually sending the officials.
I've seen one of those, by the way.
They're sending the officials out for
Barnaby with Pittsburgh.
Matthew Barnaby, one of mine. I have a Matthew Barnaby jersey. I should pull that out if the Penguins continue on. But
other than that, that's all I have.
There you go, Paul. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Now you want a trivia, right?
Yeah, I'll try the guess what the mystery profile.
You want to do the mystery profile? Can I do this one? It is my turn anyway, huh? All right.
I can see the monitor.
Okay, it is sponsored, of course, by the good people at Mattio's Pizza, located Brackenridge Heights. Okay, Paul, we didn't give them their commercial, so here we go. Your first clue, if you get it right now, you will get $100 of prizes. And your first clue is, I was the first pitcher in New York Yankee history to post 4 consecutive strikeouts in 1 inning. No dice?
Babe Ruth, I have no idea.
No. Clue number 2 is worth now $75. I was diagnosed with a rare but benign genetic defect of the liver.
Don't know Lou Gehrig?
No.
He wasn't a pitcher, okay.
Don't forget now we're talking about a pitcher.
Okay.
In my 2006 contract, and this is worth $50, I negotiated 8 round-trip limousine rides each year for my wife because she doesn't like to fly.
A.J. Burnett.
You got it.
Oh, I did.
$50.
Wow.
For Paul.
I was thinking of Wells.
That was a great pool. David Wells would be another one, except he
yeah.
would have to bring her all the way from San Diego, and that probably wouldn't work out so well.
Hey, Paul, congratulations.
The Burnett's live in Baltimore. They live outside of Baltimore. So.
All right.
Okay,
got to take a break, and we come back. We do have another caller.
John from Erie. That
yeah,
might be
John,
hockey.
boy.
That might be hockey, too.
Okay. Let's take the break. We're coming right back.
Husqvarna, taming the wild.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough. Don't forget my radio show Saturday morning on WAVL. It's 9:10 on the AM dial. We go long distance to Erie, Pennsylvania. And John from Springdale, PA, up in Erie. Welcome. Are you working, John? Or are you a senior in college?
No, just trying to work the job to get the big boy job like so many of my generation are now, but still trying to do our best to keep involved in the sports world. So that's why I haven't called in so long. I've been working a lot of Monday nights, fellas. I apologize.
Good. I'm glad you're working.
That's a good thing.
I think so. Anyways, I know you guys are probably hearing a lot more hockey than you're used to, so I won't throw too much at you.
Fine by me.
What's that?
I said fine by me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just heard more about horse racing than I think I've ever learned in my life. So, I mean, hey, to each their own. Anyways, last time I called, which seemed like so long ago, we were talking about the new NHL realignment and how the East teams will have one more team than the West teams, and you were talking about how baseball hated that so much, a story I had never gotten the end of, and I wondered if you could explain to me why that was so despised.
Well, they were, and from what I understand, and the Players Association in the NHL had the same argument about it that baseball did. And that was that your chances of making the playoffs are lessened by more teams being in one conference as opposed to another. In other words, if you look, let's say the Pirates, for instance, last year were in the National League Central where there were 6 teams. I mean, a 1 out of 6 chance of finishing first instead of 1 out of 5 chance. So what the Players Association said in the NHL, led by Don Fehr, said that it took that the equity wasn't right, that more teams in one conference will miss out than teams in the other conference will miss the playoffs, because you're still going to take 8 from one side and 8 from the other, no matter what they call them, divisions, conferences. I don't know what it's going to. I think they should call them the Patrick, the Smythe, the Adams, and the North. But so that seemed to be the inequity that everyone was talking about. And baseball had to work hard to get back the other way, and the hurdle they had to jump over to put 15 in the National League and 15 in the American League was that there was going to be interleague play every day. Now, that's not an issue in the NHL. I mean, you can have, not everybody plays every series or every day. So the schedule can move itself around, and you don't have to worry about that in hockey. They tweaked it and fixed it around in the NHL. I don't like it that much because there were, at one point this year, and I didn't figure it out, and I will take a look at it later, that you can have a team with more points in, say, the Western Conference not make the playoffs over a team a team with fewer points in the Eastern Conference will, just because of the way they're going to have the wild cards set up in each conference. So I still like it better the other way, or division-wise, that they're going to take the top 2 from each division, and then they're going to go wild card, or top 3 from each division, and then take 2 wild cards. That you could actually have in one conference somebody with fewer points making it over a team with more.
Well, that can happen already between East and West. I mean,
but I'm talking about within the conference, John. It can happen within the conference. You can have one. You will be able to have that. It's very possible that you can have it. And at one point this year, it was like that. It's set up that way. That's my only inequity. That's my only inequity.
Okay, hey John, I'm getting a signal from our director that we got to get to trivia because it's going to be time to close up shop here.
All right. If you got a hockey one, I'll take it. Otherwise, multiple choice.
No, I have one on Russian weightlifters.
Bring it.
Bring it, he says.
Okay. Mike has got a multiple choice for you if that's your selection.
All righty.
Here we go, John.
All right.
Who did Babe Ruth surpass to become the all-time career home run leader? Who did Babe Ruth surpass to become the all-time home run king? Here are your choices: Roger Connor, Pete Valentine, Artemis Jordan, or Home Run Baker?
Well, the last one sounds rather obvious, but what was that first answer again?
Roger Connor was the first one.
I'm going to go with Roger Connor.
Guess what, John? You're 100% right. Bob threw the El Cheapo at you like they do on Price is Right on the car game when they throw El Cheapo, and you don't want to take that because you only win like $12 if you do that. Home Run Baker was not the answer. Roger Connor was. Home Run Baker got his nickname because he hit 12 one year. Not kidding.
And Artemis Jordan is a fictitious name, by the way. So, all right. Hey, John, good to hear from you. Right if you get work. Please.
I thought he was in Wild Wild West, Artemis Jordan. No, that wasn't it.
That was Gordon.
Artemis
Gordon. Okay. Hey, John, again, thanks for the call. Thank you all for watching here tonight as we wrap up this particular show. Go Pens is the best way to put it. Go Pirates. Yes. Go Steelers. Whatever.
Go all of them.
And
hopefully by the next time we see you, we'll be talking about the next round.
Right. And we'll see you then a week from today right here with Sportsline Trivia. I'm Bob Tattern.
I'm Mike Powell.
And good night, everybody. For watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl and Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.